for another episode of Outdoors People. First, there's me, CW Getz, and her, Maya Marzaki. Good evening. It's Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. We have a beautifully, that's a new one. Beautiful. It's really not. 34 degrees Fahrenheit, 2 degrees Celsius, hazy, lazy, crazy day in February here in north central Illinois. Maya, it's a mouthful. What do you got down there in São Paulo? Yes, São Paulo.
Yeah, São Paulo. But by the way, congratulations on your February, because I remember that you discovered this word last year.
I did.
So probably it's the second time you were using.
I think most people say nice. February, and it's supposed to be February. So I had to learn, fix that.
Well,
my camera's all crazy. Look at this. We're going to rock and roll here. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? You fire the camera, man.
Looked like you were in a nightclub.
Yeah.
But well,
I just came from a nightclub. Can't you tell? Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, and your weather.
That's in a good mood.
Yeah.
But anyways, here it is a beautiful, hot day of summer with 24 degrees Celsius for the free world. And it means 75 degrees Fahrenheit for you guys in the United States.
It's my absolute favorite temperature. Yeah. 75 degrees, man. You can't go wrong with that.
You can. It's too hot.
It's perfect. I honestly, you know what? I know you were up here. You weren't here. Yes, you were in the summertime, but I'm telling you, it gets 100 degrees sometimes, and it gets 90% humidity. And
yeah, that's the worst part, because in the summer it rains every single day, like nonstop, and the feel of like being warm is much worse.
Yeah, it is. And that's miserable. Honestly, 75. Anyway, let's talk about the weather. No. It's been a while since we've been on here, kids. We took a little vacation and got a little carried away with it. So we are back.
Oh my gosh. You are on mute.
Yeah, it took a mute thing on here. So we got a ghost in the machine again tonight. Hey, my internet's crazy. So if I go off the air, it's been fun and it's been real. I'll try to get back on. So just kind of carry on without.
You can go off, please.
We are going to try to have a weekly show, or I should say a show every week from here on out. So let's see what happens. And, no promises, no guarantees. So, all right. Well, let's meet tonight's guests. Shall we, Maya?
Yes, please. I'm so excited.
This is going to be a great show. We got a lot going on here, and I hope that I get to stick around. My internet doesn't kick me off.
Right. By the way, for who doesn't know, we are interviewing just Brazilian people who Rockclimb. Yeah. So I'm very excited to do the first show with my people and with you guys as well.
Is that right? Live from Brazil. It's Maya and the climbing crew. I love it. All right, our first guest. And if I mess up these words, please forgive me. I'm working on my Portuguese. Anata Kalaman began her career as an actress in Brazil, working in film, television, and theater. While directing the documentary Women Are Mountains, she discovered a deep passion for climbing, which led to her pursue guiding education in the U.S. during the pandemic. An AMGA certified multi-pitch instructor and avid traveler, Anata has climbed in places like Mexico, Patagonia, Morocco, Thailand, Spain, and Italy, to name a few. For her, climbing is more than just a sport. It's a way to connect with different cultures, landscapes, and people. She currently lives in North Carolina and guides for a company called Fox Mountain Guides.
Hello, everyone.
Fernando is a Brazilian entrepreneur with a background in real estate, gastronomic tourism, and hospitality. He discovered rock climbing in 2022, starting with a basic course and later venturing into trad climbing, having studied in Bologna, Italy, and is an avid traveler. Though still relatively new to climbing, he continues to grow with the support of skilled instructors and fellow adventurers. Driven by his passion for multi-pitch routes, he balances his professional pursuit pursuits, rather, with a thirst for new experiences, dreaming of scaling iconic walls around the world, and forever inspired by the boundless beauty of nature.
Hello.
Lucas, born and raised in Sao Paulo, Lucas Sato is a climbing guide, instructor, and partner in the courses and climbing sector at grade 6. Since joining the team in 2011, he's trained over 450 new athletes across various states in Brazil and has guided several groups through the Manchiqueira Mountains, the Himalayas, and the Andes. In 2007, Lucas graduated from the first class of the Adventure Tourism program at IMB Morumbi University, where he discovered climbing. In 2012, Lucas began developing rock climbing routes in various parts of Brazil and has written numerous magazine articles, produced videos, led workshops, and is a columnist for Portal Extremos and the North Face. I know I butchered that, kids. The North Face blog. For 2 consecutive years, Lucas was on the testing team for Go Outside magazine as a guest professional and has been a guest speaker at Brazil's leading adventure events, including Adventure Sports Fair, Mountain Festival, Brazil Mountain Week, and others. And with that, welcome to the show, kids. All right, that's about as cool as it gets, wouldn't you say? I love that video, man. I love that. We had a third part that it didn't make it. I'm sorry, but yeah, but it's still cool. I mean, that's as cool as it gets, man.
Right?
Yeah, I've seen the view up there too. It's pretty cool. When we went down to Brazil, what was that, 2 years ago now, or a year and a half ago, Maya?
Oh my gosh, like 3 years, I guess.
Yes.
Time flies.
2022, almost 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, time flies.
I got to try climbing. It was very cool, and thank you again, Maya, for that. That was amazing.
Right?
Where I met my wife, as a matter of fact. So
Right?
it was an amazing trip, right?
And by the way, all of us here met our another half, the better half, climbing.
Yeah.
So climb brought a lot for us.
Well,
I didn't know that. That's cool.
I'm going to start this off, and I'm going to ask this question. How would you, each of you, we'll go around and ask each of you, how would you define the sport of rock climbing? What is rock climbing per se? And which other sports involve the skills utilized in rock climbing? Let's start with the ladies first. How about Hannah?
Ladies first. Ladies first.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, rock climbing is basically climbing a rock, right? It can be as little as 1.5 meters rock, and it can be as big as it gets. So I would define it as that, as climbing rocks.
Yeah, kind of a scaling thing. I mean, it's like, hey, we're not just climbing, but there is a challenge factor in the different types of rocks and the different places that you climb, I'm sure, right?
Exactly. And different ways of climbing, different protections, equipment you use or no equipment. And that will define the different types of climbing. But climbing is basically going up rocks, rock climbing, as we know it.
What's your definition of rock climbing? How would you describe it?
For me, it's all about, yeah, of course, climbing the rocks, and it's a lot about reaching places people usually don't go.
There you go.
So just getting another point of view, getting another landscape to see.
Yeah.
So I think it's
Yeah.
about that.
A hell of a view, I might add.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lucas, how about you?
I think Renata told everything we need to know about rock climbing. It doesn't matter if you climbing just a small piece of rock, like a bouldering, or a big wall, and you have 1 kilometer of climbing. And here in Brazil, we kind of, I think we debate this in the group about the mountaineering versus the rock climbing. And mountaineering, it can have a lot of techniques like trekking and hiking, and rock climbing is just it is a more technical adventure, I think, and you have to be with your gear and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, you need to know what you are capable of, what you are facing, and prepare yourself physically, mentally, and study the route you are going to do. And I don't know, I feel like for me and Fernando, because we are beginners, we are not the rock star like those two. uh, it basically have fun and try to be better in general, because it is so nice to improve yourself, to see what you are capable of, because sometimes we don't know how strong we are physically and mentally, and good and meet good friends and good people, and laugh in the end of the day. So rock climb for me is just about having fun, in a safer way. My teacher is here, so I cannot
That's not always the
use
fun
this
way, Maya.
part.
The safe way is not always the fun way. We all know that, right?
It doesn't happen to be fun to be called fun.
Ah, there you go. I like that.
Love
I think there is a route called like this in Itatiaia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's not fun for sure.
No, it's not fun for sure.
It is a hard one. But what inspired it of you to pursue climbing? How did you begin training, and what have been your biggest achievement so far?
Let's start
Great.
with Renata again.
Yeah. Go
Sure.
ahead.
Okay.
I watched a documentary quite a few years ago called Valley Uprising,
Oh.
and I was in a phase where I was into directing. I've been an actress my whole life, and I was exploring directing. I had filmed quite a few short movies, and I was really into documentaries, and I watched that one, and I just thought it was so fun. Valley Uprising, for those who don't know, it's a movie about the history of rock climbing in Yosemite. And if I'm not wrong, the director, I think, is Peter Mortimer, I think. I'm not sure, but it was just fun. The editing is like chopped up, and it's all those fun characters in Yosemite. And I didn't know anything about climbing, and it's like it's a very detailed story, and I just, it kind of swept me away, and I was like, oh my god, this sport is just like so incredible. I really want to do this. And I was dating someone at the time, and he told me something about like, but this sport is like really dangerous, and it's bad for your knees, and you have bad knees. I was running at the time, and I was like, I don't know. And then I broke up my relationship, and I was like, now I want to rock climb.
There you go.
That's what I want to do. And I went to the climbing gym, and I loved it. And I met someone that day that was like, oh, it seems like you really like it. Why don't you come and climb with this group that is going to the rock like next week? So the first day I climbed, like a week later, I was already at a rock near near Sao Paulo that's called GB. And I went there with a big group, and they were super nice people, super welcoming. I'll never forget, and I'll always be grateful for that group because they were so welcoming. They gave me climbing shoes. Like they gave me old climbing shoes. They gave me an old harness, and they were super nice, and I felt so welcome, and I was like, this is really nice. I really like this. And it was so intense. It was such a feeling of belonging that I thought about directing a documentary about climbing because I thought it was so special. And then I directed that movie that it turned out to be Women Are Mountains, that it went to a bunch of film festivals around the world. And after that, I just started climbing all the time. And a year later, I met my husband in the mountains, and he's a big climber. And that there you go. Everything started from there.
That's where I was going. That's the right man. The guy that told you don't climb, it's dangerous. Get away from that guy. This is fate. I mean, I'm telling you, you were meant to. That's it.
He was a nice guy. It was just not for me.
Yeah, not a good match, I would say.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Sato, it's your turn.
Okay. So I was since I was a kid, I was a big fan of sports. I lived in São Paulo, and we used to play tennis and skateboarding across my teenager. I met the table tennis. So I was a table tennis player for all my teenagers. And when I went to the college, a friend of mine told me that, hey Lucas, why don't you go climbing? And I thought, climbing? I don't know if it's for me. I'm very skinny and I'm not too strong. And he told me that no, this is perfect for you. You are tall man and you are skinny. You're gonna be good. So I went to a climbing gym called 90 degrees in São Paulo, and I started climbing there. And I went from the competition that was table tennis. So for me, the sport is competition in that time. But when I went outside for the first time, and I never got back inside in the gym. So the first time I rock climbing was in the Pedra do Baú in São Bento, and I was passionate for this, and I keep doing this for my whole life. I began working with this since 2011, and here I am.
Very good story. Very cool.
Okay. And you forgot all the places you guys went. You forgot as well that you met your wife as well.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one. Good.
All of us.
I think all of us, yeah.
Did the two lovebirds meet here? Maya and Fernando, did you guys meet on the mountain, as it were?
Yes.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I don't think I know
because
that.
of climbing.
Nobody told me that.
Yeah.
You told me. I forgot.
Well, you didn't ask me. I'm kidding.
I love it. I love that response.
We are from the same small hometown, but we have never met. I mean, I knew who he was, and he knew who I was because it is a small town, so everyone knows about everyone's life and family. My family is kind of friend and works with Fernando's family, but we never met because I was living abroad, he was living abroad, and I was climbing as well, like crazy. And he started climbing, and then we met through a mutual friend, and I invited him to travel with me for a climb trip. And then,
Here we are.
What is this? And I don't know. What is that? What does that mean? And I don't know.
You know what happened, right?
I don't know.
We are boyfriends and girlfriends.
Oh, yeah. Would you like to elaborate on that, or you just want to leave it at that, Maya? Is there any future plans for the, Like, and you're going to be married, like, you know, Sato and
Oh my gosh.
And
we hate that question.
Yeah.
Hanada, are you married now to this man, or how is it? Steve,
Yeah.
we've all done it, Maya. It's your turn. You and
I am married to him. Sorry, I was muted.
Well, that's right. I read your
the
lips.
man. I am married to the man I met in the mountains.
Okay, kids, it's your turn, Maya, Fernando. You know, there you go.
Okay,
We're waiting for
let you know.
Yeah, there you go.
You look like that old aunt, you know, in the Christmas who ask like those dumb questions. Oh, what about kids? Do you want to have kids?
Maybe I was paid. I may have been paid to ask that question. I'm not sure. So, Fernando, is that your story too? Or I mean, or like, come on, you got another
Well,
part.
actually, I started thinking about climbing a bit before.
Yeah.
I was actually doing a hiking trip to a place called Itaguaré. It's a mountain here in Brazil. And I had this feeling, like this awakening when I woke up there. We did the trekking, we slept there. And the next day, I woke up like 5 in the morning. I had no idea what to expect because when I arrived up there, it was already getting dark. And I had like this awakening, this feeling, just I did belong in the mountains. And it was something like a really crazy feeling. And yeah, after that, I started looking for to get in the sport. A friend of mine invited me to go to a climbing gym in Campinas called Power Block. And I liked the sport, so I started telling friends. So I discovered I had a lot of climbing, climber friends, and they started taking me out to get to know different rocks and different places. And then I got the opportunity to go multi-pitch climbing, and I was like just in love with that. And after that, I met Maya, and that was a really nice part of the story. I would say the best. I met my wonderful girlfriend, and she took me to this climbing trip, and it was actually really nice. It was at that point I was really sure that that's the sport I want to do for the rest of my life, for sure. And I was sure I loved that woman as well.
Man, I'm telling you, if there were ever a proposal, I think that was it right there. I think you got your proposal.
It would be a funny proposal in a podcast. That one, I've never seen it.
There's the story for another episode, Hanata. We can say that that's how I proposed to my wife. I love it.
Okay, let's talk about climbing. So,
well, guys, we know how each of you got started or became interested in. Let me ask you this: how has climbing changed your life? I mean, what aspects has it really enhanced your life? And then what do you do to kind of I'm going to read this here because I wrote it. Actively promote. How has it changed your life, and how do you actively promote in the community?
Yes, just let me say something. It is so funny in a good way because everyone who tries climbing for the first time feel like us, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? I need to do that for the rest of life. So feels like it is a wake up calling. And I feel like I need to tell the world how great is climbing. And those guys here, they helped me so much to improve that and to live that as well. So in general, thank you guys for everything you guys have done and are doing for the sport here in Brazil.
It's funny. I know you're not just saying that because I remember asking you that very question. I think we were in the beach house in, if I can remember the name of it. São Sebastião.
São Sebastião.
I'm amazed that I remembered that. But the thing is, I remember you telling me. I asked you. I said, what's so special about it? You said, man, I mean, it changed my life. Yeah, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool that someone can actually say that about a sport a lot of people say it about a person, but when a sport hits you that way, that's pretty special.
It is not a sport, it's a lifestyle.
A
It
lifestyle.
is
There you
a
go.
way of thinking, it's a way of being alive.
Yeah.
But those people can explain better, I guess.
Yes,
Yeah,
let's go around the table again.
In my case, I think climbing is like active meditation, and you just you're
Wow.
just thinking where you're gonna put your feet and your hand, and don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Basically, is that. And for me, the changing corner was to be able to work with that. And I work a lot with climbing that I don't have time to climbing for myself in these past 5 years. So it began with a dream of working with that, becoming an instructor and a guide, and I've been doing that for like 15 years.
Wow,
And
it's a long time.
it is my profession, and I don't see myself doing nothing else.
Lucas, do you ever get what they call? You remember runners? They call it a runner's high. Do you ever get that with climbing?
What's
What?
runners are? What is
runner's
that?
high is like you're just so into what you're doing. And by the way, I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
experienced this, but it's like you just get this where you are in the
It's
moment.
like a flow, right?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
I
Almost
think
like a drug.
every climber has this.
Every climber has that, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
That's cool.
the feeling when you are facing a problem and then you solve it, or during the solution, you feel like you are pretty high, like you are
I think
another.
we call it catch a buzz. You know, you'd catch a buzz on what you're doing up there. It's just that much of a wow, bigger than life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
I
you
feel
get
like.
that?
absolutely.
And by the way, Lucas Sato, he's up here. That's why I'm pointing. He's here for me.
There he is. It's like the Brady Bunch.
So he is the best climb teacher in Brazil. He knows his shit. Like, it's unreal. He memorized all like the descriptions, all the like manuals for all equipments for all brands. Like,
Wow.
it is unreal how much these guys did. It's like crazy.
Wow. That's pretty cool. That's pretty
So
cool.
who want to come here in Brazil and climb? Talk to him.
That's pretty cool. Quite a compliment, Lucas.
Yeah.
I love
Thanks.
Ananta, how about you? How about the how has climbing influenced your life so far?
I think it has shaped my life in many ways. I mean, I was a professional actress, and I think I had been climbing. I filmed a documentary, and I was trying to find ways of getting out of the city to be more in nature and climb more. And like Lucas, I thought that guiding would be a solution, and it was. Just like those people, when I climbed the first time, they show me that experience. I wanted to replicate that with other people. I wanted to teach others and give people that first experience. And it's been great. I mean, I love being a guide, and I love teaching people. I love and even though it's like the same route, sometimes like guides, we climb the same route, and it's an easy route, and it's like you put a top rope, but it's just so rewarding to give people that first experience. I really, really enjoy it. And yeah, I love it.
That's so cool.
And you are guiding United States, right? South Carolina, right?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, sorry.
Northern States. That's all good. It's all good.
So people who want to climb with Renata in United States, contact her.
Yeah.
And something that I love about climbing is that the first time I went to a climb trip, I saw so many girls, and girls just like you, Renata, like sweet and nice and welcoming. And then when you start climbing, it's like, oh my gosh, like she rocks. That's so nice to see. I love that.
Yeah, it's cool. There are many like girls, women that crush here that are
Yeah.
super strong climbers, and it's always good to see.
Yeah.
So cool. Fernando, how about you?
Well, I don't work with climbing,
Yeah.
but
Smart guy.
yes,
Smart guy.
yeah,
Smart
that's
guy.
yeah. At least not
Is
yet.
it is the scene, right? Works with something you love, and then you will never love anything again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, for me, it's actually still shaping my life. After I started climbing, I started like thinking only about it because it's so good. I feel so good while climbing, and I met so many nice people. Um, I met my wonderful girlfriend, and I met, for example, Lucas Sato, who is an amazing instructor. I took the tread climbing course with him, and nowadays I have my daily work, and all the rest of the time I'm just thinking about climbing. When I'll be able to climb again, how should I train for climbing? So that's about it.
But yeah, like I am with you every day since 2 years ago, pretty much, and I can see how much your lifestyle changed for better because now you wanna eat healthier, you wanna be healthier, you wanna sleep more, go to the gym just because you want to climb.
Yeah, just because I
So
want to climb. Yeah,
right, so shape your whole life and your whole decisions, your routine. So it's a good, how can I say? I don't know, something to make you be gooder,
Gooder.
better.
I love
yeah,
it. I love it.
it's a life goal. Yeah,
That's so cool. I love those answers. You guys, I mean, that's very inspiring, especially to somebody, Hanato, like you mentioned the movie that you watched. It was a documentary, I think.
Yeah,
In
it was
fact,
a documentary.
Yeah.
I've heard of that. I really have.
It was on Netflix for a while.
Okay. Then I think I
Yeah.
did see that.
Yeah.
But like that inspired you, the other guys like that. This is what inspired me, and I got this, and it's just really has made me a better person. And I love that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
For
that's
sure.
that's about climbing. That's why we love.
It's an
And
addiction.
climbers are so nice.
I love it.
yeah,
And it's very hard to tell someone who never climbing, and hey, come on, let's go climbing. We get to the summit and then we go down. People don't understand the feeling.
yeah. But we still try it. Every
we still
beginner
try.
climber, we become preachers. Climbing
Yeah.
preachers. You can say that. Yeah.
I know I asked you in the private chat here about reading some comments. You mind if I do that right now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Because there's a couple of things I think would be interesting to get some response from you guys. By the way, Cool Quest, 40 acres upper peninsula of Michigan. I love that thing there. I love that. Hey, hello, guys, and thank you for watching, tuning in here. Questions. First of all, Jen John Lee says climbing is a cult. I'm sure you'd all agree with that, right? Once you start, it becomes a mission to convince more people to do it. Okay, so Cool Quest.
Oh, it's Jen, your friend, right?
This is Jen, a student of mine.
I love it. Cool Quest wants to know, have any of y'all, I love that, y'all, done ice climbing?
Actually, I am in a place for ice climbing now. My company is doing some ice climbing in North Conway, New Hampshire, and gosh, I love it. But I'm a total beginner, and that's so cool about climbing because there's so many like different climbing modalities that you're always learning. And at ice climbing, I'm a total beginner, and I'm learning with the head guide and the company's owner. They're here teaching the rest of the company who are not ice instructors. So I'm like learning everything, learning the ropes again, learning how to use the tools, and it's so cool. It's so fascinating, like climbing like waterfalls that are frozen, seeing like all the snow around you, especially for me I come from Brazil. We're never around snow, we're never around ice, and it's just it's fascinating. The landscape, the tool, like the badass tools, like it's just fascinating. I love it, but it'll take me a while to become an ice instructor, I'll tell you that.
I think your shoes that you do, not the shoes, but those cleats are cool. I own a pair. Actually, I own 2 pairs. I use them just to hike in the really steep parts of the parks that we go to in the wintertime, because it gets very icy here, solid ice, and nobody wants to wipe. Those things are great. I love those. You can do some damage with those too, but
Yeah, you can kill someone.
and there's that,
Oh,
yeah.
or yourself. So
Nice.
I like myself. A nice little scar to show for that. But anyway,
And Lucas Sato was a mountaineering guide as well, right, Lucas? You ice climb as well, right?
Yeah, here in the company we have a ice climbing course that we make in Bolivia, in the Andes, and it's different from what Renata is doing, because it's like Renata said, you have to use 2 ice tools and crampon, and the verticality is more like a 90 degrees. For us in this course, we do not aim for vertical walls,
Okay.
but
I
we
see.
have some practice in a vertical place, but it's very different from what Renata is doing and everything. It's like more high altitude mountaineering than ice climbing.
Okay.
cool.
I
Very
see.
cool.
So
Yeah, in
to-
mountaineering, sometimes you use some of those tools. Like when you do mountaineering, use some of rock climbing and some of ice climbing, like tools and techniques within mountaineering. And it can be like, like you do a little scramble and you do like a little ice climb. And sometimes it is very technical and sometimes it isn't,
Yeah.
Well, if you want to, why don't you tell us about the modalities of climbing and what do we have in Brazil as well, and iconic locations that you have been, and iconic locations here in Brazil for people who doesn't know, get to know.
Sure. I think the main ones are bouldering. There's a lot of bouldering in Brazil. I'm not a big bouldering person. Lucas may know better. I'm not sure.
I'm
Near
not a
São
boulder
Paulo,
too.
near São Paulo, I know there is Iperó.
Iperó.
Oh yeah.
I've heard about Milho Verde, but
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never
Yeah.
been.
Yeah.
I know there's really good bouldering in Brazil, but I'm not a bouldering person, so I'm not the one to recommend it. If you guys know, go ahead and you can give more recommendations.
Ubatuba. I think Ubatuba has
Ubatuba.
great bouldering and beach.
Yeah, Ubatuba it is front of the beach, so it's pretty beautiful
yeah.
place. I
Yeah.
have never been though, but it is beautiful.
I want to know how
Cent-
soft
go
those
ahead.
pads are when you land on them. Does that still hurt?
No.
They don't look that soft.
They're not that soft. They're not bad.
They are not soft. They
I
are
didn't
hard.
think so.
They're kind of
Just enough to
hard.
keep you from breaking both legs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
funny
dope.
how bouldering it is like people are sometimes more afraid of doing ropes because of the height, but bouldering is the kind of climbing that most hurt people because of the landing and all that. But
I can believe that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
for
agree
sure.
100% with Renata.
Yeah.
I tore all my ligaments of my elbow, and I think I broke my nose, but I'm not sure. But I looked like a MMA fighter for 2 weeks after I land with my knee on my nose.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So after that, I was like, maybe I shouldn't try to boulder that hard. I'm not that good anyways. And it seems like, I'm almost 40 years old and it's not very good for my fingers and my ligaments. Fuck
Ice
bouldering.
climb is safer, right? Let's go with ice climb.
Let's go with ice climbing. Ice climbing is not that safe, but yeah, let's go with ice climbing.
We definitely need to climb with ropes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For us, it's better.
And
With
then we have
hopes and ropes, right?
Oh, there you go. Got the Brasilia, right?
Yeah.
Got the Portuguese, right? Got it.
for sport climbing, we have Serra do Cipó, I would say, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's like the main place in Brazil for
Yeah.
sport climbing.
The Mecca.
That's
Yeah.
the Mecca, and there are many places. But if
Yeah.
I
And,
were to choose one, I would say Serra. When people
yeah.
ask me from the state, like in the States, oh, what's the place to go in Brazil? I would say Serra do Cipó.
Yeah.
And then there are many others, but Serra do Cipó is like the iconic place in Brazil to go to.
Yeah. We met a Spanish girl who climbs here in Brazil, and she was like, I didn't know that you guys had such amazing place like Serra do Cipó. Like it is like climbing in Spain. So it is like well known around the world for sure. Serra do Cipó for sport climbing. Guys, you should go.
It is iconic. I think people should come from other places in the world to travel to Serra do Cipó. And I think they already do, but it's not like going to the Red River Gorge in the States. Like people don't know as well Serra do Cipó, and it is worth the trip. It's a beautiful place. The climbing is great. Serra do Cipó is worth the trip. Guys, if you're a sport climbers, go to Serra do Cipó.
Yeah.
And finally, we have a lot of mixed climbing in Brazil. I would say we have trad climbing, but we mostly have mixed climbing. Do you agree with that, Lucas? Or
Yeah, for sure.
okay, so
The
São Bento. Go ahead.
trad climbing in Brazil is different from the trad climbing in USA, because in USA is always associated with cams and nuts and everything, and here in Brazil we call trad climbing the multi-pitch routes.
Yeah. So it's basically boats and trad. And for mixed climbing of trad, of both trad protection and boats, I would say there are two places that are extremely special and they're also worth a trip. And I'll say those two places are Rio and São Bento de Sapucaí, and they're both iconic and amazing. They're both worth the trip. And in Rio, you just take the flight and go to Rio, and you're there. You're basically climbing inside the city. You hardly have to do any approach, and the views are just stunning. And in São Bento de Sapucaí, it's like a 3 hours and a half trip, a driving trip after you go from Guarulhos, and you're there. And so it's like, oh. It's so easy to get there, and it's amazing, and both places are worth it. And they're like mountains. They're like big multi-pitch routes. So
the videos that you guys saw in the beginning, most of them was from this São Bento do Sapucaí place that she just told. It was a beautiful place, and all the communities they're living there or staying there for the weekend. So it's a nice place to meet nice people as well, make friends, and talk about climbing.
And for the trad climbing here in Brazil, I would like to comment. We have the Serra dos Órgãos.
Oh, yeah.
Big mountains and beautiful mountains. I don't know if there is a place in Brazil more beautiful than Serra dos Órgãos. We have the God's finger, né? Dedo de Deus.
That's true.
And the devil's there is the opposite, agulha do diabo, the devil's needle. It's quite beautiful too. It's like the sugar loaf and the Cristo, and it's beautiful as well.
Yeah. A Serra do Cipó, Serra dos Órgãos stay in the Rio de Janeiro state, not the city, the state of Rio de Janeiro. It's kind of north of the state, right? In a mountaineering part. And it is like gorgeous for hiking, trekking, climbing. It is really iconic and can be very hard and can be very easy.
Yeah.
So yes, it's fantastic place for sure.
If you like adventure climbing, that's the place to go. It's like
and it's like one and a half hour by car from Rio.
Yeah.
It's very close to Rio.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get. And PNI, right? Parque Nacional de Itatiaia, the national park.
It is beautiful. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
The first time I went there, I thought I was in Europe.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful. The mountains are huge, and I never seen ever.
Yeah, and I love the national park because The vegetation, it is different for we are used to, because here we have the rainforest, and
Yeah.
then in the national park it is a completely different environment. It is
Yeah.
very cold, very high, full of rock, not many trees.
Yeah.
So it feels like you are, I don't know, in a Avatar movie. I don't know,
Yeah.
right?
Makes
Fernando
sense.
had been there for the first time last year.
It's
And
definitely one of the most beautiful places I've seen in my life. It's like really amazing. It does seems like you are in an Avatar movie. It's I don't know, from a 40 minutes drive, you are just in a whole new ecosystem. It's really crazy. It's really beautiful.
yeah,
The only thing
well,
I would add is if you're coming from abroad, sometimes like some of our topos are really good, some aren't, and it's just in some of our trails are not easy to find.
Mhm.
So sometimes it's worth hiring a guide, and I'm not saying that because I'm a guide, but just because it can be difficult to find the basis of routes. And so if you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go there and find this route and climb it, it can be harder than you think. So, to make
yeah.
it the experience, just like even if you wanted to lead and do the route yourself, it can be worth hiring a guy that knows the way and will take you exactly where you want to go.
I think honestly, I want to chime in on this. Guides, if you think guides are for the inexperienced or the weenies, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Guides are worth I mean, a good guide. I'm not saying every guide because I
Yeah.
don't know every guide, but good guides are worth every penny that you pay for them. And I'm sure it's not cheap for everyone, but if you're going to do something and you want to know the high points or the good points, or you want to stay safe, or you want to do all of that, a guide is a very, very good investment, and I don't say that lightly.
Yeah. And people
And I
don't
didn't get
know,
paid for that saying that either, so nobody paid me.
but it is true because you want to have fun and keep safe, right?
Right.
And what people do not know it is that in those places it is cold in the winter time, and so if you get lost, you are not able to sleep in those places by yourself with no equipment and still alive, because it gets very, very cold and windy during the night. And so yes, hide your guide and have fun and be safe.
Good investment. Good investment, right?
Right? Yeah.
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 And talking about that, we are in the part that I most love. So Jan,
Maya's
show
favorite
us
part of the
the
show.
pictures.
I love it, man. And now for this. You know what? We had everybody send some photos. And sorry, Ian, but one of the things that I thought was interesting is some of these really featured equipment more than the person behind them. So these first few, I think there's 6 of these equipment is important. And I want to say, Lucas, I think these were mostly your photos, if not all, the ones that I picked for the equipment ones. Could you kind of just explain what the piece of equipment or the main piece of equipment we're looking at, and maybe what it's used for, if it's not already obvious? But go ahead, and what are we looking at here? This is a rope, obviously, but what is this specific rope? What is it?
Yeah. In climbing, we use a specific rope. We call it dynamic because it absorbs your fall.
Back. Yeah.
So you can't climb without a climbing rope. That is dynamic rope, basically.
Lucas,
This
what's that rope made out of? What makes it a dynamic rope?
polyamide, basically.
What is it?
Polyamide.
Polyamide.
Polyamida.
Renata, do you know how to say that?
We call it nylon. We call it
Nylon. There we go.
Nylon is the polyamide from DuPont, basically.
Yeah, the polymer. Okay, got it. Nylon. So this is a nylon rope that gives it that elasticity, or that type of thing where it's not a hard stop when you reach the end.
Exactly. This is the magic from the rock climbing. Without this, we can't climb.
Okay.
Because the
Good.
impact would hurt or kill us.
I was going to say that'd kill you, wouldn't it, if you come
Yeah.
stop?
It kill. It can kill.
My gosh.
And
So
break
it-
you in the middle.
Yeah. Literally break you in two parts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this photo was from a friend of mine that is Vinicius Popó, and it was a route that we opened, and we were rappelling down from the route.
Okay. Very cool.
In which city?
What is this? What is this piece of equipment? I've seen these. I forgot what they were called, but it's cool looking. There's some engineering going on there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
This is like a cam that it's a piece that you put in the rock, close it, and as hard as you can push this to come out, it's hard. It can grab from the sides of the rock.
So this thing spreads. The more tension
Oh, yeah.
you apply, the more this thing spreads and it grips harder. Am I correct?
Exactly.
Or better.
And then you clip your hope on, so it is your saved point.
What are you clicking on, Maya?
The hope
The hope.
The rope.
There you go.
rope.
I love
Rope,
the catch
rope.
for that.
Sorry. Thank you,
love it.
guys.
Sorry. That's pretty cool, though. That's pretty cool. I love those things. Are there different sizes of those cams? By the way?
Oh,
Yeah, from pinky finger to bigger than my head.
Wow. And you don't carry those all up at once, do you? I mean, you don't carry
Yeah.
every size.
Yeah, we carry.
Wow.
It depends on the type of climbing, but like Renata said, in Yosemite, you can bring 30, 40 of these guys.
There you go.
you go pretty heavy up. So
Anata, do you have one of those? Did you just grab one?
I just grabbed one.
I thought you did. That's cool. I go, she's grabbing a piece of equipment.
I just
love
bought a new one and I really liked it, so I grabbed one in case you guys wanted to see.
it. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Like a very, I bought a micro cam today.
That's
I
Oh
really
my
wanted to try.
gosh.
Nice.
I can
Ian,
I can show off.
can you jump to her? There you go. Thank you.
Oh,
I
that's
Wow.
so small.
I
Beautiful.
bought it. That's a 0.1, so it goes smaller than that. It's a
What in
0.1
the
DMM.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah.
Wow.
I've been
How much
I'm
is
really
it?
I really like different cams and like different brands, and I like using them, and this is a 0.1 DMM. I've never had DMM, and it's just a little different. Like you can pull the sling like that,
That's cool.
and the stem is a little more flexible, and it's supposed to hold a little bit more than the actual 0.1. So the actual 0.1 holds like 5K, and this is like 6K if I'm not wrong. So I was excited about it. It has a good feeling. Like I like the feeling of like doing this and then putting on.
And you would
So-
literally trust your life to this piece of equipment?
No, not this one. This is too small to trust my life on it.
Okay.
But I would expect it to possibly catch a fall and hold body weight.
Okay.
I wouldn't trust my life on it though. This is
Okay.
too small.
But
Let
in
me
the
ask you
bigger
this.
ones,
Life.
yes, right? The
Huh?
bigger, but in the
Yes.
bigger ones, yes,
Yes,
for sure.
the bigger it gets. Yes. Yeah.
What does a piece of equipment like that cost? Just curious.
This,
$80.
Yeah, this was 89. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
In US dollars, that is, right?
in US
Yeah.
dollars. Yeah.
$80. Okay. Okay.
Here in
Thank you
Brazil,
for-
much more expensive because we don't have manufacturings and because of the taxes. So here is much more expensive.
Okay.
And
This is a big problem in Brazil. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to
Because
come
you-
down there and start a manufacturing company for climbing equipment.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Let's go.
They
Renata.
actually, there is a national brand called Alpen Pass, but I cannot say good or bad things about it because I've never tried their cams, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've never used them, but it is hard, like for like everything, like for ropes, for shoes. I think 510 imports them, but I think it also comes with a tax.
Yeah.
So basically everything comes really expensive. Like I sold my cams to Fernando.
Yeah, I just
Yeah!
bought. Yeah.
And
I'm
we do
really
a lot
happy
of
with my
that.
new set.
Make money
Yeah.
off each other is how that works.
Yeah. But what's the downside of that? The downside is that Brazilians end up buying a lot of secondhand gear. And in my
Yeah.
case, it's okay because Fernando can trust me. My gear was
Yeah.
good. But a lot of people buy secondhand harness, for example, which is kind of like sketchy because
Yeah.
you don't want to buy a secondhand harness. You know, it's used. That's like a safety equipment. So you got to be really careful about buying secondhand gear.
Kind of like buying a secondhand helmet, I would imagine, right?
I
You
think
know,
a harness is worse because a
yeah.
helmet can take more, like
Yeah.
it has more lifespan, but
Okay.
a harness has a very limited lifespan. So does a rope.
Yes, because the climb one is not like the bicycle one that when you knock or shock, you need to buy a new one.
That's what I thought there
It
was
is
something.
it is not the same. So the harness have a longer life than the motorcycle harness, for example.
And I would think that the sun, the ultraviolet rays that hit the plastic, sort of aid to degradation of that plastic too, right?
Yeah, some.
I mean, because you're up there for hours. You're not up there for
Yeah.
15 minutes. You're climbing. You're a day. You're a day out in the sun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in Brazil, it's very hot,
Yeah.
especially in
Yeah.
Rio and everything.
So for soft materials, for example, we say that they have a lifespan like of around 8 years. So
Yeah.
for example, if you buy a rope and you never use it, but you leave it in your closet, after 8 years, you want to retire it. And people don't know that.
Oh,
They're
wow.
like, oh yeah, like I never use my rope. It's brand new, but it's not. It's being sitting in your
forgot.
closet.
Yeah.
And it's time to retire it anyways.
I forgot about
So-
that. It does have a life, doesn't it? A shelf.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
like fabric and kind of plastic, so
Yeah.
it goes bad with time, right?
Yeah. All soft.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry, Ian. We interrupted the photo session, but yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's say, okay, I did this because what are we stepping through there? What kind of stirrup we got there?
This is a self-rescue course that I teach here in Brazil. It's
Okay.
a friend of mine. It's Mauro from Rio too. It's it's more like a training for experienced climbers that want to know what to do and how to do in the case of an accident.
Okay. So that's kind of an emergency piece of equipment. you'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one, Ian.
There we go. Okay, I got a comment about this. This looks like you got a hardware store on your butt. I mean, it really does. I mean, there is
Expensive
so
butt.
much. Yeah, that's got to add, I don't know, 20 pounds maybe to your person when you're climbing. Am I wrong?
Yeah, this is the cams that Renata was showing to us.
Yeah.
And you don't have the bolts in the rock. It's better for everyone. It's better for the rock. It's better for us. Better for the lead climber. And you put the cams into the cracks, and if you fall, that's what's holding you.
Yeah. I mean, because somebody might ask, really, do you need all that stuff? It's like when people go camping and they have a truckload of stuff
Yeah.
to go to the local campground. You know what I'm saying? And somebody might say, well, do you need all that stuff? All that, all those
Yeah.
pieces of hardware? And your reply would be what?
Yeah, it depends on the route, and it depends depend on you too. If you want the route to be more protected, you can go with more camps, and
Okay.
you can
Yes.
choose.
If you have balls, you don't need even use that, right?
I mean, do people like improvise and say, well, I can't afford this or that or whatever, but I'm going to use this and I'm going to make it work somehow? Do people do that also? Is that
Oh, wait.
possible, or is that even
I
safe?
hope not. I hope
Yeah,
not.
in this case, you just don't have to, you can improvise in this situation.
Okay.
At least not anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we are very grateful to the previous, to the people who started climbing as a sport, who discovered it's not possible to improvise a lot of things. Yeah.
Okay.
And created equipments, right?
Yeah,
Because-
exactly.
Because imagine it, now we have all those equipments, and it is safe and it is light,
Yeah.
and like all those rules. But imagine when people started climbing, they do not have anything, and they climb it.
Yeah, the pioneers were like really badass.
Yeah, I can imagine, and somebody invented these things, and out of, what is that? Necessity is the mother of invention, remember?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
How often do you guys have equipment failures with any of this stuff?
Not very often.
Not very.
Yeah, not
I
very
mean, do you
often.
maintain the stuff at home? You go, I got to make sure.
We fail first.
What?
Yeah,
Say what?
usually people do things wrong.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not
Oh,
the
okay. I see what
equipment,
you mean.
right?
We fail first.
Because the equipment, it is not made to fail.
So it's human error as opposed to mechanical failure more times than not, right?
Yeah, or sometimes like a rock breaks, but when things, I've had pieces come out.
Okay.
But usually when I like I'm climbing at my limit and I know it's a marginal placement and it's like that or nothing, and I was like, okay, it's that or nothing, I'll just put it anyways. But I kind of know that it may come out anyways.
You're
and
cautious of it. Okay.
yeah, and sometimes it comes out, or a rock breaks, or sometimes there are those things. And there is also the unpredictable factor, right? When rock falls and things like that happen, like I've had in Yosemite this last trip, I've had like a natural rock fall that lots of rocks fell into me and a partner.
Whoa.
And it was like totally not called for. There was not a potty above us. And those kind of things, like it's not often, but it can happen. So in the beginning of the podcast, Maya used the word safe, and safe, it's not an adjective I would use for climbing, not because we cannot mitigate risk, because we can mitigate risk, but we can never like say that it's going to be safe. I would never use that to a client, say, oh yeah, come with me, it's going to be safe, because I cannot guarantee,
Right,
like we
right.
get out the house and we can be like run over by a truck or whatever. I get on an airplane, it's probably going to be safe, but I don't know, like life is not safe.
Yep.
And it's the same with rock climbing, like I cannot say
Just
for sure.
reduce the odds. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good call. And we sorry, we learn how to be humble, right? Because anything can happen. Anything, everything, like things can happen.
Let me ask you a question. Do you throw the equipment in the bag, and when you're done, you'll pull it out the next time you use it? Or are you going home and are you oiling these things or lubricating these things? Are you cleaning them out? Are you making sure going through everything? Go through the parachute before you pack it in the, you know what I mean? When you jump out of the plane, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I usually take it out just to air it out. Like if you had like a kind of a humid day, you want to dry it out. It's not like a parachute that you have to like be like super careful, but like
Okay.
you don't have to lubricate all the time. I would lubricate maybe once a year.
Okay.
I wash it once a year, so it's not something I'm doing all the time. But I put it out. I will, like if I made knots, for example, in my slings or my equipment, I will undo those knots.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll take care of my equipment, but it's not like the biggest deal.
It's not a
like
high maintenance thing, in other words, right?
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we need to take care of the equipment in the right way, and sometimes take care of how you clean as well, because sometimes cleaning can damage the fabric or something like that.
Yeah.
We were looking at what are these ropes? What are we doing with these ropes here, Lucas?
The rope that I'm connected with, it's my personal anchor, and we have another pair of ropes that I am going to belay someone.
And are these ropes? Do you specifically choose colors? I should say, do you choose colors for a specific purpose, or different tasks or different applications call for? We want to distinguish between these two ropes for this reason or another. Do you do that?
No. It's just the brand. It comes with the color.
Or pick your favorite color, something like that.
No.
I love it.
It is nice to have different colors for different clients, because if you forgot their names, you can say, climbing on blue,
Oh.
climbing
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah,
red.
I like
And
that.
yeah, instead of having them both climbing on blue, and you're like, oh, is it Zach or is it, I don't know, Carlos?
I love that.
You know?
I love that. That's cool. All right, what do we got here? This is
Safety curse.
Yeah, this is the self-rescue course
Oh,
again.
okay.
It's like a victim. He pass out, and I have to climb in the rope to get him and rappel down.
That's cool.
Next one. There we go. It's not Brazil.
No, I didn't send many photos. Sorry, I didn't know we were gonna do this. That's the Wind River Range, and that's the Cirque of the Towers in Wyoming.
I'm sure you heard that before, and you hear that many times, as do I. You have such a lovely face. You are so like cute and nice. I'm sure people, mainly men, oh my gosh, do you climb? Like, did you climb that?
If people ask me that,
Yeah,
not so much, not so
Yeah.
much. I think in the U.S. it's just so common to see
yeah.
women climbing that it's yeah. I don't. What happens more, I would say, is like not people question if I climb that or not, but have like guys like want to pass in the route, or they think they're going to be faster and they end up not being, you know. So that kind of interaction that you face it, or guys like thinking that they are right versus you, like for procedures that, you know, they're not, they have been climbing for 2 years and you were a guide and they think they know more than you and things like that. But yeah,
This
That-
is a
that-
good topic.
yeah.
It's a good topic.
Yeah. And that's the Cirque of the Towers too. That was a photo that I was on top of this, like, kind of, I don't know, this top of this rock, and my husband told me, oh, you should, like, you know, ride it like it's a horse. And I was like, no, it's gonna be ridiculous. He's like, just do it. And I was like, okay. And then the photo looked amazing, and the background is amazing, and I have it as my profile picture on Facebook.
That's a magazine. That's a magazine picture is what that is. Right?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Yeah. And this place is magical, this place in the Cirque. And this is at home. This is like my go-to crag. This is the north side of Looking Glass. I think we have world-class climbing in the north side of Looking Glass. It's very steep. The rock is very good. In North Carolina, we have really good granite. And this route is particularly good. Yeah, and this photo was taken by a really nice photographer in the area called Paul Phillips, and I just love this route. This is like we climb tread climbing like people climb sport climbing in the north side of Looking Glass. Like, we climb to our max, we try to climb light, you know, we try to send hard.
Nice.
So cool, such a beautiful picture.
Your last piece is that one?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not that far. You gotta run out a little bit.
It looks very far.
Yeah, though you gotta run out a little bit. But I'm looking. If you see it, I'm looking to put my next piece already.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It almost looks like you're praying to Jesus, going, you know. I love it.
Yeah, this route is a lot of endurance. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that.
Gosh.
Yeah. True.
Oh,
There we go.
it is in São Bento do Sapucaí, this picture, by the way.
I love the colors.
Fernando, are you here? Hello?
Is he with us? Is he? He is there, right? Yes,
Hi.
no. Is he there? He's not.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just looking in the queue here. He's not with it. What happened? Is he on a coffee break, or what happened?
I don't know.
Maya, find him.
Well, it is São Bento do Sapucaí, the place we talked about.
Well, hopefully he can get back into the session here.
Yeah, I send him a message.
There you go. Send him a message. He's missing his glory. The 15 minutes. As we say, yeah.
It's your time to shine.
There you go, man. All right, here we go.
Okay. Yes, good.
Okay, we'll come back to. Wow, look, I love that picture, man. Was that in the studio?
Yeah.
Lucas, I love that because that's so.
It
cool.
looked like the LinkedIn photo, eh?
I love it. It looks like what is it? Rock climber. What is it? Rock climbing digest.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. It's very cool. You got some hardware going on there. There's some more hardware. It just kills me what that looks like when you're climbing. I mean, honestly, it looks like the hardware store. That's all I can.
Yeah, in this photo we were putting some new routes in a place we call in a small city too, Santa Rita do Sapucaí. It's very close to Andradas. That is the place I go work and climb more.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of camps because it started with some face climbing, and then we went to a big crack.
I got to ask you, okay, because I'm fascinated. You can see this. I'm like obsessed with this whole hardware thing. Because I think a lot of people look at it and go, man, look at that, so cool. But do you know when you reach back, do you know exactly what you're grabbing for? Do you have to kind of look?
It depends. If I'm crack climbing, I put my hand first, and it depends of the size of my hand in the crack. I know what piece that I should put.
Really? And you put them on your belt or whatever it is. You put them on a certain order, so you know what.
Yeah.
You almost have to.
I think Maya and Fernando should talk about it because they were students, and the color of the carabiner, it's the same of the cam, and you have to be organized to know what piece is in what place.
That makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
You need to be very organized, and first of all, memorize each color. It is for each size of cam, and also put in an order that you are going to remember and use as fast as you can once you know the size you are going to use. So it is lots of thinking, organizing, and climbing.
Well,
because you were tired and then you were doing all that, like to be safe.
Preparation pays, in other words.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The more you practice, the more automatic the movement becomes.
Yeah. How about it? There's a rock picture, man. Look at that.
Like Lucas, it is in this point that he knows the size of the equipment he's going to use just with his hand. Yeah. Like my hand is straight or it is a little bit like open, we are not in that page yet.
Lucas, when I was a kid, we used to play this game. It's rather a rough game. It's called King of the Hill. Yeah. And of course, you used to beat each other up, and and who was king of the hill, and someone would come up and you'd kind of shove them off or punch them or whatever you had to do. This reminds me of that game, King of the Hill. Come on up and knock me off. But that's great. I love this picture. That's great. King of the mountain, King of the hill.
The sky in this picture is beautiful.
Yeah, it's like very powerful picture.
So blue.
Yeah.
I love that.
This sky in Brazil is beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
There we go.
There we go. Our motto.
Yeah. Actually, Maya took this picture like 2 weeks ago or something like that in São Bento do Sapucaí.
Very good, very beautiful. You know what? When I was there, and that's a fact, there's even in the summertime here, your skies in Brazil are amazing. I mean, I don't know what you do to them there. But
yes.
Photoshop.
Photoshop. Come on, you fucker.
Why didn't I think of that photo?
No, but it is funny because I live in Canada, and the thing I missed the most, it was a sky. Like looking in the sky, it is different. And my mom lived in London, and there like rains every single day. So the first thing she said when she got here in Brazil was like, "Oh my gosh, like open and blue sky. Thank you."
Yeah. What kind of knot is that in that rope right there? What type of knot would you call it?
Oh my gosh.
It's a double
Lucas?
fisherman.
What is it called?
Yeah.
A double fisherman.
Double fisherman's knot. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've seen that, but I couldn't think. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
is not the recommended one, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You can do a double fisherman's to connect two ropes, but it's just easier to do just a azalea. How do you say? Oh my god, I forgot the name of this in English. Of azalea.
I was
It's
gonna
like-
ask you, Renata, how to say the azalea?
I forgot. It just gave me I use it all the time, but I don't know the confusion between Portuguese and English. I totally blank out on the. Oh my
Knot?
goodness!
That's
In
okay.
Rio-
We'll give you
in Rio,
60 seconds.
in Rio, they call the nó de
It is not-
montanha.
It is not like English knot, something like that.
No.
Water
No.
Looped knot or something.
My
Who's got Google
God.
Translate hooked up? Right now?
It just
And,
completely blanked out.
This photo is in prateleiras.
Yes, exactly.
This one.
yeah.
Yeah. I put this boat.
Yeah,
That you,
exactly. That's what
Yeah.
I was about to
Rappelling it.
say.
Yeah,
Right
yeah,
after you fixed it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it
Thank
is
you,
on
by
the,
the way. Yeah.
You know,
so this-
Fernando, when I saw this picture, I thought, is he really up there reading a book?
he's so
Not really
nerd,
reading a book.
right?
Yeah, right.
That's why I love him.
No, that's actually we usually have in some how do you
The
call this? The summits, yeah.
Summit.
We have people leave there this notebook, so you can sign, just write your name, your message, and it just leave it there, so it's always there.
Wow,
It is a sign that you could achieve the summit.
that's very cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So as you can see, I was really happy signing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually we say like, "Oh, I signed the, I don't know, like the Prateleira Summit book."
Yeah.
You know, and if somebody says, "Yeah, I climbed that," oh, really? Where's your name? I don't see your name. You could call them on their bluff. I would say, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Very cool.
Exactly.
Excellent
Overhand.
pictures,
That's the
guys.
name of the knot. Overhand.
What is it again?
Overhand.
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 Of course.
See, I know that.
I was going to say that.
Of
Overhand.
course you are.
I had to Google it. I forgot. It just blanked.
Did you use Google Translate? Is that what you
No,
used?
Google
Just
translated to azalea knot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like the word with the accent.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, we've been through a little of that here too. So, all right, let me ask you, when is the best time to practice rock climbing in Brazil? And are there specific regions or climbing areas that are most popular during a particular season?
I think it's
winter.
May. Winter, but it can be like May through September, like the extended
Yeah.
winter.
Yeah.
All those areas we said are good in this time, I think. I don't know about the weather in the northeast of Brazil. I know there are areas there you can climb, and I assume it's the winter too. But I know there are areas in Brazil where you can climb in the summer, kind of, because what's the problem? The southeast of Brazil, where Lucas and I climb, it rains all the time. So it's the rainy season, and it's also hot.
Mhm.
So we don't usually climb much. Usually you go to like sport areas where it's like very overhung.
And by
I
the
know
way,
there.
You would never climb in the rain, would you?
No.
You can climb if it's overhung.
Oh,
So
okay.
if it's like that, and
It's
like
dry,
if
right?
it's the routes are still dry, so you can climb here. They're usually like harder routes, right? Some places, like in my area in North Carolina, the rock dries really fast.
Oh.
So it rains basically almost every day in the summer. Still, we climb every day, because if it rains at nighttime, in Looking Glass, the area I climb at, like in the morning, it can still take clients.
Interesting.
So it's just a characteristic of the rock. In Brazil, it's not so much like that. In São Benedito, if it rains the day before, it's usually not so dry the next day.
Okay.
So it depends on the rock, the vegetation, like a bunch of elements. But I don't know about so much other areas and how they work. So I know about the southeast very well, because that's a place I've been climbing. And I would say that May through September will be the best time of the year.
Yeah,
It
for
is
sure.
winter time, by the way.
Yeah, the extended winter. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
got
for
a, I
fall
got
winter.
I got good friends that climb in the Northeast, and they say they can climb in the summer because of the shadow, too.
The shade, yeah.
Yeah, the rock climbing, the sun does not get in the face that he's climbing, and in the summer you can climb in the shade.
And what is that? Just about the temperature, the heat, the intense heat?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Like in Rio, for example, you can climb in the sun in the summer.
Because it is too hot.
It is
Like,
too hot. You can hold your hand in the
It rains too much.
in the rock.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
If it's not raining, it's too hot.
Yeah.
yeah. So here in like where we are southeast, the best time the year it is fall and winter, and it is in the middle of the year. It is the opposite for you, United
Yeah.
States.
Yep, sure is.
In northeast, it is the opposite, because rains in the winter and do not rain in the summer. So if you are here in Brazil and you want to climb in the summertime, go up north and drink lots of water because it is hot.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
But the mountaineering season in Brazil, for sure, it is the winter. And sorry, I get too excited. Sorry. Yeah.
That happens on this show.
And
We are thinking about the winter.
yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Right, because the winter here in São Paulo state, Minas Gerais state, it is like the perfect weather because it is not too warm, it is not too hot, it is not raining, it is like blue sky, it is very like comfortable and nice weather. Winter time here is like so good, so good.
Yeah.
I hate summer actually because the winter here in Brazil, it is just so amazing. Right,
It is.
guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
I agree.
It's the best time of the year there.
And we get to climb more, so yeah, we
Yeah,
really
yeah,
prefer
No
it.
floodings.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
floodings. Yeah.
Dry weather, blue sky, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Right? I love that. And how has rock climbing grown in popularity and gained more visibility in Brazil over the years? And what events and initiatives have helped to promote the sport of climbing here in Brazil?
I think it has grown like worldwide. The climbing has just become like a bigger sport. I mean, it has gone to the Olympics. They've made movies, like won an Oscar. You know, like suddenly climbing became a thing, and you've seen like climbing gyms all over the place, like in small cities that never knew what climbing was. Suddenly there were like climbing gyms popping up everywhere. So climbing is becoming a thing, and it's becoming a thing in Brazil too. And I think we're seeing that, but like for example, there was only two gyms in São Paulo that had been there forever. Now there are several, right? We've seen like Fabrica popped up, which is like this climbing gym, this bouldering climbing gym, and they're doing like several of those bouldering gyms. There is also a new one that they just did in Lapa. I forgot the name. So the popularity of climbing gym, I think, is a symptom of the popularity of climbing. And also when you go to crags now, I feel like there's more people than have ever been. Like there is definitely more people, more demand for equipment, more talk about climbing. So I can see how climbing is growing in Brazil too.
How long do you think it's before climbing is up there with, no, okay, maybe not soccer, but I mean, I don't know, maybe in the same
Because of soccer never.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, but I do see a lot of climbers are from Brazil. Maybe that's just the stations or the I don't know. I don't want to say channels that I'm tuned into, but maybe the people I subscribe to on Instagram and whatnot. But mostly what I see is Brazilians climbing. I mean, where did climbing really? Where is it the biggest? Is it Brazil or is it maybe in Europe somewhere?
Where climbing is the biggest?
Most popular, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Europe and the States
Europe.
still.
You
Yeah.
think? Okay.
Yeah, I think the States and Europe are the biggest places. They are historically traditional. I think Europe even more historically than the US, but the US is just so big climbing right
Really?
now in the US.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there's like so many gyms, so many athletes. Like they're like everywhere. I think the Yosemite boom that happened in the 70s just kind of spread out to the rest of the country. And it's going to take us a while to get there, but I
That's
feel
what I'm
like
saying.
it's growing in Brazil. It is definitely growing.
And I feel like United States is a country who make people practice sports in general. So people practice sports. Here in Brazil is not that much. And about equipment, right? For us, it is much more expensive to buy equipment. So sometimes it is hard to start a new sport, a new hobby.
How
And
big is
with
how big is
climbers,
that
it's
aspect,
better.
Maya? Do you think how big is the aspect of equipment availability? How much do you think that has to do with it? I mean, the popularity of it.
Oh, the brands need to come here in Brazil to sell here, to produce here. The manufacturing industry here in Brazil, it is not good for the owners, so we do not have many manufacturings. And Brazil, it is not big like United States or Spain for climbing. So the brands are not seen as a potential market
Okay.
to come here yet, but it is going big, and you can see new Brazilian brands like Conquista brand. Yeah, I hope that it gets more accessible. And now we are facing again a economical and political problem. So the value of our money is getting down and worse trust a dollar. So it is getting more expensive for us as well buying dollars, and the taxes are higher. So we need change, like political stuff, the economical problems, and then bring the brands here or open new manufacturings and new brands here.
Yeah. So
That'll be
cost of
important. Sorry.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
That'll be important not only for Brazil but whole Latin America, because we're talking for like Brazil, climbing in Argentina, Chile, Ecuador. They are also big. You know, they have like a mountaineering tradition that we, for example, don't have as much. So it's crazy that we don't have like we're not developing, we're not making ropes, we're not making climbing shoes, we're not making cams. Like there should be like Maya said, manufacturing of those products here, like good quality product, not like good ones. Like I don't know why those brands are not here. I don't understand it. Like those big brands, I don't know why we don't, like, because they sell in Europe. Like I don't understand why they're not here, and they're not accessible. And I think we lose climbers in the process of the gym to the crag because of accessibility, because of equipment, but also because of, you know, like education, because of people don't know how, like this process is not very smooth from the gym to the crag. While in the States, like you go to the gym and there's a big sign, gym to crag, like 101, like
Oh,
how to
wow.
do it, come here, like we like buy this harness, buy this helmet, and like we'll set a top rope and that's it. Like you learn how to belay, you don't have to do anything, that's it. Like it's a very easy process, you don't have to do much, you know. And they're like, oh, okay, that was my first experience climbing. I was lucky in my very first experience because I had a very welcoming group, and not everyone is that lucky. So the more smooth we can make this process, the more climbers we're going to have in the crags.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it exists that way? Why isn't there that smooth transition or that? Why do you think?
In Brazil,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is not this movie?
Yeah.
When you enter in a climbing gym and you say you're rock climber, they see a Superman. Like, oh, you climbing the rocks.
Really?
And I think it's something like Maya said. It's hard to go outside climbing in Brazil. Although the equipment is very expensive and everything Maya said, it's expensive to travel in Brazil. You have to get a car, you have to pay to gasoline and everything. So I don't know, maybe the financial is our crux.
Maybe
Our
that's
difficult.
that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
big
I
thing.
think
And and you also have the fact that it's not really easy for you to find crags by yourself, as
Yeah.
Renata said. So you need to know people, have friends who climb, or make new
Yeah.
friends who climb.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was going to say that I don't know why Brazil do not spend money on tourism in general, any of them. So we do not have information to travel. You have if you know people who went there and can give you like names or places to go, or like stuff like that, because the informations are not there. I don't know why we are not developed in tourism. I feel like it is the only country in the South America who doesn't do tourism. So people do not know. Like here in my city, like I have places to climb, and I didn't know. And I grew up here, like cities close by here. Like people in my work goes like, oh my gosh, where did you go to climb? Like, how do you find this place? I'm like, it's like 30 minutes driving.
Wow.
Like, you
Yeah.
do not know this place? Like, really? Because there is no information.
I
It
think
is
there is
really
an
hard to start, to begin, like you don't know where to go, what
Yeah.
to do.
I
I
got a
think
lot
there
of
is an
students.
issue.
Sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Hannah.
I think there is an issue that we don't have a big outdoor culture. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Although we have beautiful nature and so many beautiful places in Brazil, beaches, mountains, like we just don't have an outdoor culture. Like I hadn't camped until I was an adult because my
Yeah.
parents just didn't
Oh,
do
wow.
it. It wasn't part of their culture. And I know I have lots of friends who have never camped in their lives. So it's
Yeah.
not part of Brazilian culture to go hike and camp and that answers the question, why do we go to the gym and we don't go to the crag? Because it's not so much part of our culture. One thing is like go to the gym in your city and it's so convenient, and I don't think it's the money. It's not because you cannot pay gasoline. It's just because you don't see the value maybe in
Oh,
paying someone and educating you and teaching you how to climb. So I think it's a process. But
Yeah.
the more people are climbing, the more services we offer of like Lucas does. It's a quality service, and people see that other people are climbing out there. I think it tends to grow.
I think it's interesting
Yeah.
that you have such a beautiful climate, and the outdoors isn't
Yeah.
as prevalent of thing, I guess.
Yeah, that's very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
we have like some specific things in Brazil. For example, our nature. If you go to the woods, for example, it's much more sylvatic. I don't know the word. It's more,
Wild.
yeah. It's much more
Wild.
wild, with dangerous animals and everything. So
Oh, okay.
I think you have this part of our nature, which is a bit.
Tricky.
we don't even have bears. We don't have
Yeah.
that many wild animals.
We don't,
No, we
we
have
don't
like
have
I don't
bears,
know, snakes,
lions,
spiders,
tigers.
and, yeah.
No,
You got
no.
snakes
We have
still down there.
snakes.
I know you got
We have
snakes.
snakes.
That's
We don't have
interesting.
bears, mooses.
Or at least I
Yeah.
think we have the impression of being like
Yeah.
too
I
wild.
think
It's
that's
more like
more
this.
like it.
Yeah.
That's more
I
like
agree.
I
it.
think it's more about the impression. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
We
Like,
only have like little monkeys that will throw you things in your face
Yeah.
or try to steal from you.
I've
That's all
heard
we
about
have.
those. I've heard about
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's shift gears just for a minute here. Let me ask you, who are the rock stars in Brazil? Who and I do say, yes, pun intended.
those two.
Rock,
No.
rock
They are rock
stars.
stars.
Yeah.
No.
Who are those guys?
For me, Alexandre Portela, Sérgio Tartari, Demilson Padilha. I like the guys from Rio and Paraná mostly. So these are my rock guides.
And why? Why do you say that? Why do you call them?
They started the thing here in Brazil.
Okay.
And the guys
The
from
pioneers?
Rio and they are the pioneers. And Edemilson Padilha, Irivan, Bonga. These are my rock stars from Brazil.
Interesting. Hanada?
I don't know so much the old school guys, but I know Edmilson and I follow him and I see that he's still out there like doing the crazy shit in Patagonia and conquering like big walls in Brazil, things that people have never been, like faces that people have never climbed. And I really, really admire him. So I know who he's talking about. I mean, I know Tartari and Portela, but I just don't know him. I don't exactly know them. But Edmilson and all those guys from the South, they are just really badass. They're the old school like climbers.
The hardcore.
And they're the hardcore climbers. Yeah. And I guess the new generation, I would say Felipe Camargo in sport climbing is our rock star. He's like the professional climber that like climb hard grades, and it's super cool that we have someone climbing as hard as him. We also have a woman, I don't know her personally, but I know about her, Jordana Agapito in Boulder. And I'm not even a boulder. I don't climb hard, but I know she exists, and I think it's cool to acknowledge her and that she's climbing so hard in Brazil. And we also have this woman that is Brazilian but lives in the US, and she climbs sport. She climbs hard sport, and she also climbs trad, and she's such a sander, is Maísa Lima. So she's also a rock star. And finally we have Gisele Souza, who has been doing like cool things. She has climbed Fitzroy, and she's been climbing big walls. So I think she's been also representing Brazil really well.
Very cool. Very cool. Fernando, who's your rock stars?
Yeah, I think they said them all. And we also have some, the younger generation, like Felipe Hu, who is bringing like the climbing into a really, it's helping popularizing the sport through Olympics and everything. I think that's them.
It's cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Maya.
Yeah. Oh, I already told you guys. For me, it is those guys here.
They're on the screen.
Yeah,
Love it.
exactly.
No.
And I love because they are humble as well. So, oh no, it's not me. Like, come on.
It's not. It's not. It really is not me.
No, but yes, for me it is. Well, we have big names, and it is hard to see the new generation keep opening routes and taking care of the places. So I feel like Lucas Sato is one of the new generation who still like opening routes, going out there and fighting for us, and making good contents with good information. Yes, and like the whole group of Grad 6, the company. I forgot the name. The guys who did the 50 classic book.
Flavio da Flon.
Flavio.
Da Flon.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
definitely a rock star. Yeah.
He's definitely a rock star. His topos are amazing. I love da Flon's topos. They're the best.
Topos of Brazil.
Best topos of Brazil.
From Flavio.
If you want to live in Brazil and you want to find a good topo, get the Flon.
I don't have here. Wait. So
There is a
There you
young
go.
guy, Brazilian, who live in the US. His name is Ben. You know him,
I've
Renata?
heard about him that he's been
He
rocking also,
he
that he
he
climbed
he
in
climbed
Patagonia.
Aconcagua and Fitzroy, I think, in 10 days.
Wow, yeah.
Oh,
I've heard about him. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
him.
yeah,
I've heard about him. He live in the US.
yeah,
interesting.
I think he lives in Boulder, Colorado. Yeah, I've
yeah,
heard
yeah.
about
Maybe,
him.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maya, this number 9 has your name written all over it, and I said, if we're going to ask that question, that's going to be you. So because I love it, that's so right down your alley. Let's do it.
which one? Sorry.
Oh, your number.
Number
We
9.
quite we labeled it.
9,
It's
right?
9. Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, okay. Yes, of
There you
course.
go.
Needs to
Right.
be me, right?
That's you, man.
Let's get ready to that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard one, right? We can talk about the whole night, entire night about that. We kind of talked a little bit before. Um, but yes, even though the participation of women in the sports of rock climbing in Brazil has increased significantly, um, women still face gender discrimination within these sports. What type of things can women to do overcome these challenging situations? Um, just like for you guys know, Brazil, it is a very sexist country, and we do have uh, big, like real and big problems here. And sports are being tools to make us seen and heard and safer. And rock climb is being that tool for me. I'm sure United States, Canada, some places in Europe, it is different. But Renata can talk better about his experiences in different
Yeah,
countries and here in Brazil.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Please, please.
Yeah, I think I've faced quite a few situations of sexism, both in the US and Brazil, actually. And I think maybe Brazil is worse just because our culture is a little bit more sexist. In the US, I feel like men are still sexist, but it's just more polite. They're just like trying not to show that they're too sexist, but they still are, you know. And it's usually like I said before, it's usually in situations they will not be like, "Oh, you were a woman, shut up," but they will be like, no, you're incorrect. This is not right. Like you are off route, the procedure you're doing, it's not right. And to the point that you doubt yourself. Like I remember once I was in an alpine route and I had studied the topo. And alpine routes, they are very wandery, so you can go one way or the other. And this particular route, um, if you there were three dihedros, and if you got one of the dihedros, you would go completely off route, and the other one too, and you had to go to the second dihedro. And this guy was in front of me, and he started going to the first dihedro, and I told him, um are you sure you're going to the first dihedro? Because I read in this. He's like, no, it is. And I was like, okay. And then he went, and I was like, and it was not that he was sexist, but I was dumb. And I was like, he must be right. So I went to the first dihedro, although I had read and I
Yeah.
studied my topo, and I went off route because instead of trusting my guts, I felt like he was going to be right, you
Oh my
know?
God.
So I took a big lesson from that sometimes we just got to be confident in what we know, we have studied, and not second doubt ourselves. And that happened like several times, like men just criticizing and questioning. And you don't have to be aggressive, but sometimes you have to stand your ground. Like, oh, I'm gonna be faster than you in the route. Do you mind if I pass it? It's like, let's see if you're gonna be faster. Like, let's start climbing. If you're significantly faster, you can pass me. Otherwise, no. Because I also wanna finish this route in a reasonable time, and I wanna come down. Oh, I think what you're doing is wrong. Are you sure this is right? I think this is right. Why don't you check? watch a YouTube video, whatever, and we'll talk about it, like, so I feel like you got to be careful even not to be bitter. I think over the years I got a little like bitter because I've heard so much shit from men. But I think the way is to just be like, I believe this is where I stand.
Be confident, right?
Be confident. Exactly. Be confident.
That's good. I like that. I think that's a lot of times bitterness is taken as a sign of weakness, maybe. So staying with the confident track might be
Yeah,
bigger
exactly.
than you might realize. Yeah.
Yeah, actually it is very hard to not go like, oh, go fuck up,
Yeah.
like, and then you are the crazy one, right?
You are the crazy one, and
Right.
nobody likes the crazy one. Yeah,
Yeah.
and women that like became the crazy one because it just takes so much shit that you're like just like fuck off everyone. But I understand it too,
Yeah.
like it's hard to play in the boys group and be cool, because you are a woman and you are different, and sometimes you react differently. Like you were like
Yeah.
sometimes there is this expectation that you just be like a man and you're not.
Yeah.
So like I would say to other women, like it's okay not to be. Sometimes you get your period and you're gonna feel cramps and you're gonna have a headache, and just be a woman too, in terms of like, feel your body, do what you want to do, and respect yourself.
Yeah, and do whatever you want to do, and do not try to uh, like do what people expect from you, right?
Exactly.
I think a lot of
Exactly.
times when
Yeah.
and there are men that push women to the point of where you get emotional, and then somehow they feel like they've won.
Yeah,
And I guess
but
it's difficult, but if you don't let yourself get to that emotional state, then
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
tricky because it
it is tricky.
happens
I'm sure.
every time. Like it's not once in a time life. Someone like make jokes with you. It's like our whole life. It is like that. Hurt, being hurt, uh, people making jokes. Because you are a girl. So sometimes it is tricky because you are in a bad day. Something happened in your family. I don't know, and then some guy comes and make a sexist comment, and you are already through of that. So like sometimes it is tricky. Like just breathe.
Yeah.
Good
Exactly.
morning to
Let me
you
ask you this.
too.
That's
You
good.
know.
But let me ask you this too. There are women that are better than men, physically accomplished more. They can do more. They can climb higher,
Yeah,
run faster, whatever.
yeah,
So that kind of just that kind of takes the gender thing, and anybody who supports that, well, men are better than women thing, that takes that throws
yeah,
that right out the window.
yeah. It
So
is so old school, right?
yeah, and it is. So at least there is that exists. But I mean, and I'm sure women that are better, stronger, faster than some men that you know. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
in climbing specifically, it's a
There you
sport
go.
where women and men are very close. Like some
Yeah.
sports are not, like boxing. Like it's just not.
Mhm.
Let's agree,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
But climbing, it's a sport where women are just very close to men. And some routes specifically, women can do better than men.
There you go. That's what I was.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's very cool that we can just get so freaking close to man on
Yeah.
this sport.
Yeah,
Lynn
and
Hill. Lynn Hill is an example.
Lean Hill,
It
yes, in
is,
the United States,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
for
She
sure.
and there was she was the first person to free the nose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there was this other woman that this year who unsighted, who was the first person to unsight the nose, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct,
I
Lucas?
think yes. I
I,
think yes.
I forgot her name. Babsi.
Babsi Zengo.
let's see,
Zengo.
single.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Super badass. Super
On
badass.
sighting is when you do a route without previously studying or trying the route. So she did it without falling for the first time, like
Wow.
from ground up.
Like
She
Basically
was the
going
fuck.
about
first.
it blind almost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
blindly.
yeah.
And she was the first person to be able to on-site climb the route. And it's a huge route. It's an iconic route, and it's a big, big, big thing.
It's your Michael Jordan, so to speak. I don't mean it's just it's
Exactly.
but yeah.
Yeah.
The god,
Yeah.
the greatest of all times.
The Babe Diedrichson. There's the female that I'm looking for. Babe Diedrichson.
I don't know if it was the nose or another route in El Cap. I think it's a nose, but if it's not, you may forgive me if I'm saying something wrong.
You know,
and
go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
Okay, no. Go ahead.
No, what made me fall in love so much for climbing, it is that I could see so many like girls, like in all pink, really like girly with makeup, like rocking, like climbing like crazy, much more than the stronger guy. So I was like, oh my gosh, look those girls, like so much fun, so cool, so
And
cool.
they're wearing purple. They're
Yeah,
wearing
purple.
purple rocks, man. I love purple.
And pink, like still being like really girly and just like do incredible things in the rocks.
I think that's awesome.
In the point of the guys go like, whoa, I couldn't do that.
I think that's cool. And as a guy who's worked with a lot of male egos in my life, I'm behind you 150% because I think that whole thing is BS.
Yeah.
So good for you guys.
And that's another point. We do not have that ego, so I was very welcome with the girls group. In
Women weren't born with that curse of having the male ego, and believe me, it is a curse. Am I right, gentlemen? Am I right?
Definitely, yeah.
It's a curse
for sure.
Because you got a problem. You definitely got a problem.
Yeah.
I think we hit on this earlier, but I want to ask, what are the biggest challenges in Brazil for people who want to start rock climbing? I mean, in other words, how accessible is the sport of rock climbing in terms of cost, training, and equipment?
I think for my business, believe it or not, the pandemic scenario was very good in this way.
Okay.
We got like in the last four years, we got 100 classes and maybe 400 new athletes just in the last 4 years.
Wow.
I think the pandemic made the people to literally go outside. So I think Renata said a lot of this too. The culture here in Brazil, the outdoor culture is go to the beach and stay in the beach. So, but I think at least past years we are changing this. If you go to Parque Nacional do Itatiaia, you see like 400 people in the making hiking and trekking and everything.
Wow.
And
good.
I see with good eyes.
Yeah.
That's encouraging. That's encouraging.
Yeah, and I think it is important to say that companies like yours help the cost to be less because you guys have all the equipment to do the climb course, the climbs after work. So it make it easier because you learn and you can land the equipment instead of buying one.
Yeah,
right.
I think the climbing is growing here in Brazil. Like Renata said, when I start climbing, we have 2 climbing gyms. Now I have now I think just in São Paulo, I think we have 13.
13?
So,
Wow,
yeah,
crazy.
Hey,
So-
give us a time reference. What, Lucas and Renata, what years did you start climbing?
15 years ago.
Give me a
I
date.
started climbing in
My math isn't that great.
2006. 2006.
2006. There you go.
Yeah.
Renata?
There was just
Yeah.
2. Yeah.
8 years, 2017.
Okay. So 6 and 17. So yeah. And you came since 6, you've come from 2 to how many you said?
Just in São Paulo, 13.
13.
I think it is 13.
That's a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot. And the equipment thing we've established, if you could get some manufacturers down there or a facility from a manufacturer here down in
Yeah.
Brazil, that would help a lot.
Yeah. What we do is buy with friends like Renata who lives in the United States and then
Sure.
can buy for us or can sell the old ones for us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for some kinds of equipments and gear, for example, you can buy a good harness in Brazil from Conquista, for example, or some cords from Ariente. I think they are Brazilian.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have-
Bio also sells ropes, but they're not Brazilian, are they?
No.
They are,
Bio are French. They are
Yeah.
French.
Yeah.
Do you have
We,
like
we
company
don't
like
we
like
don't have
Petzl?
a climbing rope company that manufacture here in Brazil. We don't have.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So you
They are
import all your
outside.
rope. Okay.
Yeah, they are outside.
There was a
100%
picture.
outside.
There was
Yeah.
a picture of a young lady going through an airport with a climbing rope around
Yeah.
recently. Yeah.
Yes.
You
I-
don't have Petzl's not down there in Brazil?
Yes, it's here.
You do
Yes.
have Petzl. Okay, I thought so.
But it's very expensive.
Even though they're
do
manufactured.
they
in-
sell
No,
petrol ropes?
They sell what?
Do they sell petrol ropes in Brazil?
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
The company that brings it's called Espelayo. But it's
Okay.
like a climbing rope here in Brazil from Pretzel is like 2,000 and a half
Okay.
reais.
Yeah.
In,
Yeah.
It's
in
like
US it's like
much.
$100.
Yeah, it's not
That-
that. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm going to come down there and start a rope manufacturing company.
Yeah.
I
Please.
think that's a.
I thought about it.
lucrative
Yeah, I thought about it like a business.
Yeah.
Anata, if you think
I love
more,
us.
give me a call because I
Yeah.
might be up for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm not entirely joking about that, by the way.
Me
just so you
neither.
know.
Me neither.
All right,
Let's talk
'Cause
about
I've got
it.
a manufacturing background, and I happen to know a few things about it. I used to make drums for rock stars, and I'm not
Yeah.
joking. Go ahead, Maya. This is the part where we learn how to reach the rock star, reach the stars, reach for the stars. Would you say that?
Yes. Where
There you
can
go.
people contact you guys online, like in Instagram, website?
Well, people can contact me on my Instagram, which is at Renata Loves Mountains, or if you're Brazilian, @ Renata Loves Mountains. Or through my company. If you want to climb in North Carolina, you can look for Fox Mountain Guides and book a day with us.
Interesting. Fox Mountain Guides. That's cool. Hey, I see a remote broadcast there, Anata. Maya and I could show up and.
Yes, definitely. You should go with me or not. Doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
you guys should match for
Well,
sure.
we got a trailer full of broadcasting equipment. It's just begging to be used, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Let's do it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Might take you up on that too. Anata and I may exchange some ideas for both of these things. That might
And
be-
you were a kayaker, aren't you?
yeah, kayaker.
Oh,
canoes.
Yeah, we have
You do that?
great whitewater. There you go.
I definitely see my remote broadcast here gonna happen. That's great.
Yeah, you guys have so much in common. And she's like a rock star in everything she does, and she
There
does
you go.
lots of sports.
Well, we love
You guys
that.
are going to get along.
Sounds good. Well, you know what?
Lucas,
This
so-
has been the funnest, most fun 2 hours I've spent in a long
the
time.
gooder.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank Lucas and Renata and Fernando for being our guests tonight. It was an absolute pleasure. And Maya, I'm sure it was probably the same for you. Am I right?
Yes, for sure. Thank you very much, guys, for being here to share your stories. And to open the new season with us.
Yeah, absolutely. We're learned a lot, and thank you for sharing all of your knowledge and your experience and all that in your ideas with us. And this particular podcast, once we're finished, we'll be recording, of course, in a podcast. So that's going to go some different places. So I'm hoping maybe we can do some favors by you guys and just increase the popularity of this wonderful sport even more so down in Brazil.
And by the way, Lucas needs to share his website, Instagram.
Oh yeah, Lucas, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah,
Great.
people can reach me in the Instagram. It's LUKSSATO.
All right. Repeat that for us one more time, just in case they missed that.
LUKSSATO.
Got it. .com.
Luke Sato.
Yeah.
Look,
Love it. But it is .com, right? Not
No,
.org.
it's on Instagram.
Oh, this is this is the Instagram. Okay.
Yeah,
go-
yeah.
Yep. Sorry. Okay, got it. All right. Well, fantastic, kids. Thank you so much for joining us. And for now, I'm going to say, along with Maya Marzaki, this is CW Gets saying thanks for tuning in to Outdoors People. We'll see you next time.
Ciao.
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you.